Good morning, everybody. So I welcome you all once again for a software testing class. So today is our 7th session. Yes. So just I'll recap the things what we discussed in the last class. So in the last class, we discussed about root cause analysis. Yes, root cause analysis for testing, significance of testing or importance of testing, what we discussed yesterday, and what are the factors for cost of quality, what we discussed. So then 3 types of cost further what we discussed, and psychology of testing what we discussed in the last class. That's what we have discussed in the last class. Yes. Today we'll continue with the next topics. What we need to discuss is here. Yes. So these are the topics what we are going to discuss. The testing choices, in-house testing and outsourcing. Yes. And developers as testers, as we discussed yesterday. So testing can be done by developers also, as it is advantages of doing testing by developers, what we discussed yesterday. We have discussed that. And also what is the benefits, we'll see. What are developers as testers? That's one thing. Testing choices, in-house testing and outsourcing, developers as testers. So these are the 3 topics what we're going to discuss in today's class. Fine. Next, what do you mean by testing choices? Yes, there are 2 types of choices of testing. You can do testing in your company itself. So you need to have test engineers, a team of testing and all. We call that as an in-house testing. Suppose you are not having test engineers in your organization, you cannot do testing. Yes, so you can get it done from outside, third-party vendors, or outsource. We call that as a outsourcing that. So you're not having testing team, test engineers are not there in your organization. You can get it done from outside. We call that as a outsourcing. So 2 types of testings are possible: in-house testing and outsourcing. Yes, fine. We'll discuss this once again, one by one. Yes, what do you mean by in-house testing? That in-house testing is a good choice if the necessary infrastructure or manpower is available. So when can we do in-house testing? So for doing in-house testing, you need to have test engineers and infrastructures, maybe software or hardware or testing tools and so on. You need to have all those things what we can call. Yes, fine. So that is what you need to have it. Is it clear? Fine. So that is how in-house testing what we call. So in-house testing is a good choice if the necessary infrastructure, yes, or manpower is available in our organization. So you need to have the manpower, you need to have the hardware, software, testing tools, technology, and so on. If it is available, then you can go ahead with in-house testing. So what are the advantages? The intellectual property will not be given out to third party. So one of the advantage here is that, so the whatever the software is you are developing it, the software will not go outside the organization then. So when you're giving it outside the organization, they may misuse it or they may tamper it or something, but usually they will not do it. But there is a risk, you can call. There's a risk involved in that. So there's a risk involved in that. So that's what. So it will not go to outside person. That is one advantage. Next, the management will have total control over time and budget. So if the testing is done in your organization, you can ask your testing team to get it, testing done within a specified time, maybe 4 weeks. And what is the budget required for that? But if you're giving it for third party, so you cannot have the control there. So they may ask you more money and also for more time what you can call. That's one. So the second advantage is the management will have total control over time and budget. And third is the in-house testing team has access to developers, and hence the test engineers can interact with the developers if needed. So when the testing is being done in your organization or in-housing, what happens? The developers also will be in the same company. If any doubts are there or if any clarifications are there, they can immediately communicate with the developers. So these are the advantages of doing in-house testing. Is it clear? Yes. Can somebody read these points?
In-house testing is a good choice if the necessary infrastructure and manpower is available. Advantages: the intellectual property will not be given out to a third party. The management will have total control over time and budget. The in-house testing team has access to developers, and hence the test engineers can interact with the developers if needed.
So these are some of the advantages of in-house testing, what you can call. It's fine. So what are the disadvantages now? Yes. So disadvantage is that, so maintaining the infrastructure, software and hardware is very costly. So you need to purchase the soft testing tools. Maybe some are available freely, that is okay, but most you need to have a licensed version of testing tools, sir. You need to procure it. So procurement is very costly to the testing tools as well as the hardware protocol. Then the necessary expertise may not be always available. For example, so whatever the type you want to do testing, so those tools may not be available for you then. Like for example, you're taking the banking software. So banking software requires some specialized testing tools or what do you call security based tools and so on. And the third disadvantage is that the manpower, training them and keeping them for duration of the project is a challenge. So your project is going on for 6 months, for example. So to retain the employees is a very, very difficult task in the software industry there. So the keeping on jumping, you can call that. You keep on moving from one organization to another organization, getting the manpower and training them. After getting the training, they may work for 6 months and they will leave the organization. That happens usually in a software company. The employees are leaving the organization quite oftenly that. So to retaining the manpower or the software engineer is very, very difficult. So it is very challenging. So these are the advantages of in-house testing. So somebody read the points. What are disadvantages?
Disadvantages. Maintaining the infrastructure is a very costly. The necessary expertise may not be always available. For example, testing the security aspects of a banking software, getting the manpower, training them, and keeping them for the duration of the project is a challenge.
So these are some of the disadvantages. Maintaining the infrastructure is very costly. Yes, procurement and maintaining it. Yes, and what you need to what you can call expertise. Sometimes the expert may not be available in your organization. Again, you need to bring new people and train them. And again, the retaining the manpower and training them and keeping for the entire duration of the project is a challenge. What you call. So these are some of the disadvantages of in-house testing. What you call. Yes. The second type of testing, that is outsourcing. What do you mean by outsourcing? As I told you, so instead of getting the testing done in your organization, you can give it to some other company or some other organization. You can get it done from other organization. That is what you call outsourcing. You need not require infrastructure, you need not require manpower, you need not require what you can call software testing tools and so on. Yes, so you can get it done. You can pay some whatever the charges are there, and you can get it done. But the drawback here, the software will be going to third party. So first we'll see what are the advantages of outsourcing. Software testing needs a lot of infrastructure, hardware, software, and so on. Testing tools, systems you require, and so on. The prime contractor need not maintain this infrastructure. So first advantage is that your organization, you are not doing testing, you need not require any infrastructure there. Then the subcontractor will have the necessary human resources available. As you are giving it to outside person, outsourcing it. So what it's his responsibility to maintain the infrastructure as well as the human resources. The prime contractor need not bother about recruiting and training the manpower there. So you're not bothered about whether test engineers are there, you're going to get the testing done, whether testing tools are there or infrastructure is there. All those things are not at all responsible for your organization. So they are going to be taken care by the third party, what you call it. They're going to take care by the third party. Is it clear? So that is the advantages of outsourcing, what you call that. So advantages of outsourcing. Yes, once somebody read these points, what are the advantages of outsourcing?
Software testing needs.
One of you.
Continue.
Software testing needs a lot of infrastructure. The prime contractor need not maintain this infrastructure. The subcoordinator will have the necessary human resources available. The prime contractor need not bother about recruiting and training the manpower.
Yes. So these are the advantages of what you call the outsourcing. You're not bothered about hardware, infrastructure, tools, or manpower. Everything will be taken care by the other party or the subcontractor, what you can call that. Yes, fine. Next, then as testing professionals are experts in their areas, their productivity will be high, and hence testing is done faster and better at the subcontractor's place. So you're giving it to third party or the some party or the some company or a vendor who's doing exclusive testing there. So they are having their work is only to do testing there. So they are very experienced and skilled person, so they can do testing very faster, what you call. Yes, so that is another advantage, what you call. So as testing professionals are experts in their areas, the productivity will be high. That means they can do testing at a very faster rate. Is it clear? Well, if you do in your organization, it may be difficult for you, because here as the third party, they are all outsourced, they are all testing engineers or test engineers, what you call. So they are expert enough. So they can do it very high or at very fast rate. So hence the productivity will also be high, and hence testing is done faster and better at the subcontractor's place, because they are having all the resources. Infrastructure may be there, or tools may be there, testing tools, whatever they require, because they're expert in testing. So they're having everything, they can then done it very fastly. Then the problem associated with the psychology of testing are eliminated as the test engineers belong to another organization. Here, psychology, what do you call, the developers may blame the testers and the testers may blame the developers. That happens usually. Why? Because the testers will identify the bugs in the program written by the developer. The developer will tell that no, there are no bugs. So that such conflicts between it's not basically conflict, a misunderstanding or miscommunication between the testers and the developers will be eliminated, because the testing is done by third party, what do you call test file. If the testing activity is outsourced to an organization in a developing country, then it results in a lot of cost saving. So here it's a very advantageous. So if you do testing in your organization, it will be very expensive process. So in like countries, so in our country, most of the projects are being testing. We are doing testing there. So all US based any projects, most of the projects what we are doing in India are testing based. Then no doubt there is development also, but most of the projects are in testing phase, what we call it. Yes. So easily you can do the jobs, what you call testing. A lot of demand is there for testing. So and here, as there is in developing countries, there is a labor is cheap. So many of the projects are given to our countries for testing. So these are again the some of the advantages of outsourcing the testing project. Is somebody once again read those points?
As testing professionals are experts in their areas, their productivity will be high, and hence testing is done faster and better at some subcontractors' place. The problems associated with the psychology of testings are eliminated as the test engineers belong to another organization. If the testing activity is outsourced to an organization in a developing country, then it results in a lot of cost saving.
Yes. So these are again the some of the advantages of outsourcing, what I can call. Fine. Yes. So what are the limitations or what are the disadvantages of outsourcing, what I can call? Yes. The intellectual property may be transferred to a third party. As I told you, you're developing the software, and your software being sent to some other organization. So that is a risk involved in that. Yes. Then the time frame is not under strict control of your prime contract. So if test engineers are there in your organization, you can give them a time limit. So within 1 month, you need to finish testing. But when you're giving third party, so he may not do it in 1 month. He may take more time, because you want to get it done from the outsource. So you cannot expect it to get it time. He may take more time, and cost also is important. Evaluating the vendor, particularly for the first time, is very difficult. When the choice of vendor is incorrect, then the outsourcing will result in a bad experience. Suppose, for example, you're giving the what do you call project for a new organization which is doing for the first time. For the first time, they're doing testing. So if they're doing first time testing, or suppose that may be a wrong choice, yes, then what happened? It may lead to a bad. Your software testing may not be completed in time. That is a drawback, what you can call that. The evaluating the vendor, understanding the vendor, whether he may do it correctly or he may not do it correctly, it is a risk. You need to take a risk there. Suppose if he does not do it properly, your testing is not done correctly, then you will be losing your time as well as your money on it. That is a drawback. Then next drawback. If the outsourcing organization is located in a different country, again the laws related to intellectual property, copyrights, and cyber laws may be different. Suppose now we are doing a US-based project. Now they're sending the software to India. So it's a different country. Transfer the software to different country or a region. Again, there are so many issues may be there. There may be cyber laws may be there, or intellectual property rights or copyrights, and so many other things criteria may be there. When you're sending the project to some other country, it's again difficult. Suppose if it is in the same area or the same state or same country, there is not a problem. But when the software is we can transfer to other countries, there are again so many issues related to that. So these are again the sum of the disadvantages of outsourcing. What you call. Yes, somebody read those points once again.
The intellectual property may be transferred to a third party. The time frame is not under strict control of the prime contractor. Evaluating the vendor, particularly for the first time, is a difficult when the choice of vendor is incorrect. Then the outsourcing will be result in the bad experience. If the outsourcing organization is located in a different country, the laws related to intellectual property, copyrights, and a cyber laws may be different.
Yes. So these are the some of the disadvantages of outsourcing. So if you outsource it, it is very difficult. So your software is first of all going to third party outsider. So they may exploit it, or it's a very risky. They may not exploit it, but it is a chance. Yes, risk that there's your software is going outside your organization. It's fine. Yes, next is developers as testers. What do you call that? What do you mean by developers as testers? If developers carry out the testing, there are some advantages. As you discussed yesterday also in the last class, you discussed that there are some advantages when the developers itself do the work of testing. The developers are familiar with the user requirements from the beginning of the coding activity, what you call it. Yes. So what, as the developer himself, they has written the code, he knows what are all the requirements. He knows the code, what is the logic, how it is flowing, what are the constraints, what he has, and so on. So the advantage is that he can do testing very efficiently, what you call it, because he has written the code and he knows what are the requirements. It's fine. The developers are familiar with the structure of the program, both code as well as the structure of modules, subsystem, etc. So they can do the testing better, what you call. So why they can do testing better? Why? Because they know the structure, they know the data flow diagram, they know the modules, how many modules are there, what is the structure of module, how the program is flowing, from which module the flow is moving to which module, module 1 to module 2 or module 2 to module 5, and so on. So they know the what you call the structure, they know the user requirements. So as they are familiar with the user requirements, they're familiar with the code, they can do testing better, what you call. So these are the some of the advantages of what you call it. The developers do the testing, what you call. So if the developer do the testing, it is an advantages, what you call. Is it clear? Fine. So developers are familiar with the user requirements from because they're developing the project right from the beginning. There they know the requirements, they know the design, and they know the code. When they know everything, so definitely they can do the coding better, what you call. Yes. So these are the advantages if the developers do the testing by themselves. Somebody read the points.
If developers carry out the testing, there are some advantages. The developers are familiar with the user requirements from the beginning of the coding activity. The developers are similar with the structure of program, both code as well as the structure of modules, subsystem, etc. So they can do the testing better.
So the advantage is that they can do the testing better. What do you call this? Fine. Next, what are again what type of testing they're going to do? They can do it. Developers also know the limitations or defects of their software, and only developers doing the testing are not advisable. So see one more here disadvantage you can say. So I have written the code, or I am a developer. Yes, I am a developer. So I can tell that my program is correct. There are no bugs, what do you call that? Yes, there are no bugs. Can your screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Yes, developers as testers, what you call them. Yes, developers as testers. Discussing. Yes. So the developers also have got some limitations there. So what the developers will say when they are develop the code, they will say that my code is correct. There are no bugs there. So it is not a good advice to do ask developers to do testing there. So what type of testing they can carry out? So they can carry out the following types of testing: unit or component testing or integration testing. So unit or component testing is nothing but a small module the particular developer has written it, he can do testing there. So it is called as unit or a component, a module which has been given. So there may be so many developers may be there. Yes, so different developers will develop different components. Is it clear? So they can do individual testing. That is what we call component testing or unit testing. Then the next type of testing, what they can do is integration testing. What do you mean by integration testing? Integration testing is nothing but, so when there are large number of modules, so there are so many developers are there, each developer will write individual modules. So all these modules will be integrated or linked together and we do testing. That is what we call integration testing. So these are the two types of testing what the developers can carry out. So unit or component testing or what we call integration testing. So it is advisable not to ask what we call developers to be testing. Why? Because they may say that the code is correct, but still there may be bugs. So it is always feasible to ask the testers to do testing. So even the developers also, we can ask developers also to do testing, but also we can ask the test engineers to do the testing. So that these are the two types of testing what the developers can carry on. Yes, what is unit or component testing? We'll discuss. Unit or component is the smallest piece of software that can be tested independently. What we call unit or component is the smallest piece of software that can be tested independently. So a small module, as I told you, a module may be 25 lines or 100 lines or whatever it may be, a small module. Usually modules may be smaller programs, maybe 100 to 200 lines. Like for example, your software project may be 10,000 lines. So we cannot have a single program of 10,000 lines. We can break down the complex program into smaller modules, as you would have done in your, like for example, data structures or something, like for insertion one module, deletion one module, or a function what you have written, or displaying some module, all such things. The smaller module for each purpose. So if the program is in the form of module, it's very efficient for testing that. So immediately it will show, suppose if there is error in delete module, so you can directly go to the deletion module and you can check it there. Otherwise it's very difficult. So because of that, the program is broken down into smaller modules, or we call that as a component. So unit or component is the smallest piece of software that can be tested independently. Is fine. Next, only developer can do the testing of the unit or component because he knows the details of the unit or component. So you have written the program, you're a developer, so you can do unit testing or component testing there because you know that you have written the program. You can do testing better. You can call it. Yes, fine. That is the advantage of unit testing. So unit or component testing can be done by a developer. That is better. What you call. Fine. Next, integration testing. What do you mean by integration testing there? Integration testing, while carrying out the integration of different modules, the interface details between modules need to be studied. So integration, as I told you, linking of many modules together, we call that as a integration testing. What you can call that is, so many modules linked. While linking or while integrating, you may require some interface also. Some interface is nothing but some programs to access. You may require some, like for example, between keyboard and CPU, you require some drivers. Same way here also, while carrying out what do you call, we need to have what you call some interface or drivers or programs are required. Interface drivers or modules required between the programs. What you call. Then code level details are needed. What you call. Yes, some small code. What is the code? What is the purpose of the code? Which code it is? For what purpose you have written the code? That's what. Test engineers are not familiar with the code, hence they cannot handle this activity. So the code is not written by the test engineers. Yes, hence they do not know what it is. Yes. Integration testing has to be done by the developers. Why? Because the developers have written the code. Yes, the developers have written the code. They can do testing very efficiently. What it comes. So these are the two types of testing what the developers can do it. So unit testing as well as integration testing. Yes, integration testing has to be done by the developers. Somebody read those points. Integration testing.
While carrying out the integration of the different modules, the interface details between modules need to be studied. Code level details are needed. Test engineers is not familiar with the code, hence they cannot handle this activity. Integration testing has to be done by the developers.
Yes, fine. So these are the what you call the two types of testing that can be done by developers. Yes. So these are the things what we need to discuss in today's classes. So what are the things to discuss? Can somebody summarize it today? What to discuss in today's classes? Yes. What are the things to discuss today?
Testing
Testing
choices,
choices.
in-house testing and outsourcing, developers and testers.
Yeah. Testing choices. There are two types of testing choices are there: in-house testing as well as outsourcing. Then we have seen what are the advantages of in-house testing and what are the advantages of outsourcing. Then we have seen the developers as tester. Just we'll recap the things here. So as we have seen, there are two types of choices: in-house testing as well as what we call outsourcing. We have discussed that. It's fine. What are the advantages you are seeing there? Yes. Yes. So these are the advantages. The intellectual property will not be given out to third party. The management will have total control over the time and budget, and the in-house testing team has access to developers, and hence the test engineers can interact with the developers if needed. What it called. So the what are the disadvantages? So the infrastructure is very costly, and then necessary expertise may not be always be available in your organization. Yes, may not be available in your organization. Then getting the manpower, training them and keeping them for the duration of the project is a challenge. So these are the disadvantages of in-house testing. Then what are the advantages of outsourcing? So what the advantages, you need not bother about infrastructure, about tools and so on, or human resources, because the vendor or the third party or the company who is doing testing, they are responsible for taking care of everything, software or infrastructure or hardware or training the manpower and so on. What you call. So they are responsible. So we need not bother about the resources and so on. Then as testing professionals, they are expert. The test engineers, they are very expert in their testing skills. They can do it very faster, and what you call, and they can, the productivity also will be very high. And what you can call the organization, you need not worry about the psychology, what you can call of testing between the test engineers and the developer. Yes. So, but and here what you call, when the testing is given to some other country, it may lead to some problems. I mean difficulties because due to what you can call region, cyber laws, and so on. That's fine. Yes. So these are the some of the drawbacks of what you call outsourcing. Then we have discussed about what you call the developers as tester. So developers, they know about the code, the requirements, and the design. Hence, they can do testing better. What you discussed. Yes. So they can do two types of testing. That is unit testing as well as integration testing. What you can do. So what is unit testing? Unit testing is the smallest component of the software. We call that as a component or unit. So only the developer is very familiar with the code. He can do testing. Whereas the next one is integration testing. We can call integration testing. What you call is nothing but linking the different modules. While linking, you require some interfaces or drivers may be required, and even integration testing, the developers can do the integration testing better. What you call. So these are the things we need to discuss in the today's class. So if you got any doubts, you can discuss it here. Any doubts?
No, sir.
So you're not having any doubts there. Okay, then we shall wind up this today's session. Okay, then fine. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.